72-year-old Idris Halilu fled Boko Haram attacks in Gora, Shani local government area of Borno State 15 years ago. Now at the Durumi IDP camp in Abuja, the retired teacher and former NTA producer lives alone, struggling with poor living conditions.
3rd March 2011, Friday, I arrived Abuja. I returned to the north in 2005, only to discover that the north was under siege by insurgents groups. So I was shocked, and I found myself traveling to Adamawa, Bauchi, and Borno, Bauchi, down to Kaduna. Then it was growing. I didn't know I was in the dark when all these things emerged. So as an ex-teacher, ex-journalist, I was openly critical of what was happening. And at the stage, I found myself, my life was at risk. So I had to find my way down to Abuja.
There are so many others who have stayed in these camps for more than 10 years, living without the basic necessities of life. Halilu says limited access to healthcare and education has worsened conditions in the camp.
This was built by 3 NYSC members, 1 girl, 2 boys. They bought the bound bricks, fixed the zinc, paid the labor. They handed over the school to me in 2016. But by 2017, the school closed down for lack of teachers. Why was it closed down? A foundation called AIDS Foundation. Look at the container. They opened a primary school here, class 1 to 6. Then what happened? In 2016, we went for fundraising at Transcorp Hotel for the school. Zara Buhari, the daughter of ex-president Muhammad Buhari, the late president, was the charity ambassador. I was told that more than 100 million was realized there. But let me tell you, within a week, that woman has absconded with the money till today.
We have problem of water, no food, no school, not even good houses.
Durumi, once home to over 6,000 displaced persons, now houses about 3,500 persons, with so many moving to other camps in search of improved living conditions. IDP camps are meant to be temporary shelters, but for many residents, there is nowhere to return. The living conditions of the internally displaced persons staying here at the Durumi IDP camp is quite deplorable. They have no access to clean water, basic amenities like healthcare, there's poor shelter, poor sanitation, and I must say that some of them have lived here for over a decade. They are still here, and there are no plans of resettling them in the offing. Shano? At the Wasa camp in Apo, established more than 11 years ago, Mary Adams, a mother of 5, recounts years of hardship.
Going to 11 years. I come for Abuja and Boko Haram people. Don't kill my brother, my sister, even the house match done the bonfire. So now she bring me come for Wasa. I dey go farm. Money not there, I dey go farm. If you do plant granola small with corn with beans, now shoot me I go chop. Even rice man no. If some people bring them for Wasa, I go for IDP camp to collect rice before me I chop rice.
In Benue State, life remains difficult at the Naka camp in Gwa West and the Ichua camp in Guma. To ease the humanitarian strain, the International Organization for Migration and partners are providing temporary modern shelters.
We stay here from since 2019 till today. What makes us to be here in a camp is the crisis between headers that are attacking us in our various places. That makes us, they pursue us from our villages, and we pack up from there to here, and the government make us to be here so that they will feeding us, depending on time that they will make a way to us so that we will go back to our centralized home.
But beyond temporary relief, questions remain about long-term solutions, safe return, local integration, or voluntary relocation. The Chief Executive Officer of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons says there are plans underway to pursue durable solutions.
It is quite true that so many of our IDPs have a prolonged stay in camps. And we have commenced program in which resettlement cities are being rehabilitated. You could recall that about 3-4 years back, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, an agency responsible for the support, care and assistance to the IDPs, have commenced rehabilitation of resettlement cities that we have across some states, particularly in the northern part of the country.
For millions of displaced Nigerians, the hope is that these promises translate into lasting resettlement and a chance to rebuild their lives. Juliet Obata, Arise News.
Thanks very much, Juliet, for that report. Well, joining us now as we take a look at the prolonged stay of internally displaced persons in camps. So we have Bernard Doro, he's the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight tonight.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering, as you watch that report by Juliet Obata, what exactly was going through your mind when you hear that many of these IDPs who otherwise, those camps were meant to be, temporary stay, have turned out to be permanent abode for them. And of course, the state of affairs in these camps. Number one, why have these temporary, shelters become permanent for IDPs in Nigeria?
Looking at those individuals, and if you have followed my activities recently, you will notice that you've shown Naka IDP camps. I was physically there last week and interfaced with the internally displaced persons, and I understand the situation. But to answer your question directly, there are factors that leads to displacement, and crisis is a major one in our country. The fact that the crisis has not abated completely is one reason why displacement has continued. But for individuals in the camp, camps are meant for temporal, accommodation while they're being looked after. But unfortunately, to be able to resettle people back into their ancestral homes, you require peace to return. And on resumption of office, what we have done is to work alongside the Office of the National Security Advisor, other security bodies, to ensure that the ancestral homes of individuals in the camps are secured. And unless you secure the homes, it will be a situation in futility if you resettle those individuals. Because to resettle people back into the ancestral homes, you require peace, and you also require the necessary conditions to be available to ensure that this is achieved. So it is not correct that there are no plans. Plans are on the way, and like I stated earlier on, we are working alongside the security organizations to ensure that peace returned, so that these IDP persons are resettled.
Okay. Honorable Minister, I wonder if there are instances where peace has returned to their ancestral homes, but the people have refused to return home, because what then that means, if that is not the case, is that there is still no peace despite the efforts of government in all of these places. And when you say there are plans, does that plan also include addressing their current living conditions in this camps, which is supposed to be temporary but has now become permanent for them?
Of course, yes. There are plans to resettle, and while that is being looked at, the livelihoods of those individuals is of paramount concerns to us. As you had the Honorable Commissioner explaining earlier on, we work alongside various organizations, the international development partners, and what have you, to be able to ensure that humanitarian assistance is provided to the people in our different camps, and also that we're able also to support them with livelihoods.
The first part of the question, sorry, Ngozi, is that are there instances where ancestral homes are now peaceful, or
like in
no
the case
peace?
of Borno, for example, there are parts of Borno State where the governor.
If you say you understand the situation, do you understand it fully across the country? Are you saying that peace has not returned to any of their homes?
Of course, I understand the situation fully. In Borno, for example, camps have closed. Currently, we have about 2 camps in Borno. That is down for more than 10. So the people are being resettled. Again, answering your questions regarding whether there are ancestral homes that are peaceful and people have refused. You know, the whole thing about it is there's a perception issue. And you don't do a forced resettlement. The dignity of the person is very important. So you work alongside the individuals affected to agree a plan because IDPs have got rights.
Right.
And so you can't enforce something against their will if they still perceive that peace has not fully returned to their country. And just to emphasize, since coming on board, I have given reform-oriented leadership. And that's what we'll continue to do. And just also to correct some sort of figures in your reporting earlier on, to the best of my knowledge and based on information provided to us by the International Organization for Migration, IOM, there's an estimated 3.7 million people in camps across the country and host communities. Because your figures quoted 7.5. I'm not sure the source of that data, but just to set the records.
Yeah, but
straight,
the figures, vacillate from 3.5 million to 8 million. Do you have an independent system that you can actually use in tracking the exact number of IDPs
I've just
that you have in Nigeria? I'd like, of course, you can respond to that. You say that, I mean, you've said it a number of times here, that you're providing, lots of care and all of that. In what specific areas? Because based on that report that we saw from Juliet there, it looks like these people are the forgotten Joes, that nobody seems to remember them until maybe we have a report like this. You take a look and, things just go back to normalcy. I mean, take 56% of IDPs in North Central and Northwest are children. What exactly are the specific plans for these children so that they don't, their lives are not, their development is not arrested?
Double jeopardy.
Double jeopardy.
Right. So there are several questions in this in your statement, but let me just correct the issue of numbers. The numbers given to you by myself, around 3.7, it's not government numbers. To be clear about that, there are numbers from independent organization, International Organization for Migration, and this is an estimated number. I've not come across 7.5, but if you have a source of the data, I'm happy to take a look at that. And coming to the other questions, of course, there's still more to do. I can't sit here and tell you exactly that everyone in the camps are being, that the situation is all palatable for everyone. But within limited resources, we are providing, we're providing, working with development partners to provide resettlement homes. We are providing temporal accommodation that takes into consideration the dignity of the person. We're looking at hygiene issues, sanitation issues. We're looking at their feeding, and we're looking at providing infrastructure where resettlement is needed. I won't call the IDP persons as forgotten junks. I can't use that word. They are people, and in everything we do take into consideration their dignity and
specifically,
rights.
In that report, you saw the former NTA producer, and I'm wondering, do you even engage the services of skilled or educated persons within those camps who unfortunately are, internally displaced persons themselves. Is there a possibility that you can actually engage these people, to educate maybe the illiterate populations in these IDP camps?
Yes, we as stated earlier, we work with our development partners to be able to provide support to people in IDP camp, and that includes educating the children that are in the IDP camps. Of course, people come in from different organizations, NGOs wanting to offer support, but not all of those supports are channeled through us. But for what we do is we ensure that qualified individuals are engaged to be able to support the education of children in IDP camps.
That's fantastic. Well, Bernard Doro, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, only came on board October of 2025.
Yes.
So we'll be keeping an eye on your journey on that ministry. It does have a history, though. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.